Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. Don't forget to hit the red subscribe button down below to become a part of the family. So today's video is going to be kind of a crazy story. I've waited a longer amount of time to film this. It's not been like as recent as just sitting down next day to film it. It's been about, let me see how many days. Today's day 17 since it happened. And as you can tell by the title of this video, I got in a really bad car accident. The morning started and I got all ready to go nanny for the kids that I nanny for now. I had taken Finn out. I had eaten breakfast, I had gotten all my stuff together, and I was headed out the door. I got in my car, and I had a Ford Explorer, which had the like sync in it, so it hooks up to your phone. And for the past couple of days, I'd been listening to Lion King in the car, and I was like, you know what? I would like to listen to something else on my way to their house this morning. And so I took a minute in my driveway, changed it to whatever I wanted to listen to. It was actually Andy Grammer, pretty good. And then backed out of my driveway and started driving to work. That caused me to be a few minutes behind schedule compared to what I normally am. I didn't think much of it though. I was like, I need to change my music before I start driving because it's not safe to do it when you're driving. Backed out of my driveway, started on my way. On my way. For those of you who do not know, I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati actually borders, it's like the most southwest corner of Ohio, and it borders, like Ohio borders Indiana and Kentucky, and so it's like the tri-state area. I go throughout all three states literally all the time, and so nothing extra special about that. But I was driving down one of the roads that marks the line between Ohio and Indiana, just driving down, minding my own business. I'm stopped at a red light, waiting. Light changes, I'm in like a little line of traffic, I guess like 4 cars, and I'm the 5th, and light turns green. We all start to go. We all make it through the intersection, just cruising down the street, and we're about to pass this big, it was like one way each direction, but then there is like a parking lane on each side. So we were about to pass this big like dump truck filled with wood in the back of it. I don't think anything of it, it's there all the time. Well, because of that dump truck, my car got totaled. That obstructed the view for one of the drivers that was coming out of like a little alleyway. They said that they looked at the light, they could see the light, they counted 4 cars, and as soon as the 4th car passed, they hit the gas and hit right into my car. They were trying to turn right out of the alley and get in like the little line of traffic that I was in. We were all going the speed limit. It wasn't like it was rush hour where we were just like stop and go. But they had tried to shoot the gap and literally just slammed on the gas right into my car. They did not see me coming. I did not see them coming. But literally they impacted my car so hard that from my lane, they pushed me all the way into the other lane, which is significant later, into oncoming traffic. There was actually a truck coming my way. There happened to be a like parking lot open area on the other side of the road. So he like swerved out of the way into the parking lot and didn't hit me. He actually like slammed on his brakes in enough time where like he skidded to a stop like right past my window, and he unrolled his window and he was like, "Hey, are you okay?" But on impact, I was not hurt. No one was hurt in this whole thing, but I bust into tears. I was like, oh my gosh, I can hear every single crunch. This was my first accident. Every single crunch, every single brake, every single everything that is making noise right now in my car. My poor baby, my car's name was Eddie. Poor thing is just crunched up. I will insert pictures and videos I have of like on the scene accident. literally boom, right into the side of my passenger side, like front area. That passenger side door does not open. I had a big Ford Explorer and it was big enough that the whole thing didn't just like crumple up. So I was okay. I did have like broken glass down by my feet. I have no idea where that came from because none of the windows like shattered, but the whole front end was like crunched up and everything like that. And then the back passenger side tire was just like slashed and deflated on the spot. I had just bought that tire not even a week before. I was having issues with my other one, so I went to the tire place and got that tire. They were like, yeah, well, I really recommending like before winter you need a really nice good tire, especially in a big car. And I was like, haha, my car has 270,000 miles on it. I don't know how much longer we're gonna last, and I don't need like the best of the best. And he was like, oh yeah, okay, I understand. And he was like, do you want a $7 protection policy for your tire? And I was like, I'd love one. He was like, this covers everything. If, you know, it goes flat, you get a nail in it, you need a patch, whatever, bring it back in and we'll fix it for you. And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. I'm glad I was thinking ahead. Anyway, I sat there and literally just cried sitting in my car before I got out or anything. I probably sat there for a good like 3 or 4 minutes before I even thought about getting out, because I was just like, in my head, all I could think about was my car is destroyed. I will never like be able to drive this again. I am devastated. This is like my baby, 270,000 miles. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna need a new car. How am I gonna get a new car? This is crazy. I don't have a way to drive. Like, all of those thoughts just hit me all at once. And I was like, once I get out of my car right now and open the door and get out, that's gonna be the last time that I get out of my car. Like, heart just broken. I was like, I cannot believe this is happening to me. I was devastated that like that was the end. That was the end of Eddie. I was like, no. The guy ended up coming and knocking on my window and he's like, are you okay? You haven't moved yet. And I was like, I'm fine. My car is not. The police arrived and I got out of the car and gave them all of my information. And he was like, you really need to move your car out of the middle of the street because he pushed me across the line. Now I'm blocking both lanes of traffic. They're having someone like try to get people around through that parking lot and stuff. And he was like, you need to get in your car and move it. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I can move it. I didn't even like see the flat tire at that point, but I was like, I can try to move it. Yes, I can. Go in, try to turn it on. It'll start for like 30 seconds and then it'll turn off. Shake a little bit and turn off. Shake a little, turn off. Couldn't move it out of the street. Couldn't barely even turn it on. And I knew at that point, I was like, everything on my engine, new transmission, everything is just shot. Like, there's no going back. So they have a tow truck come and get it. We get all of our information. My dad comes to the scene. He picks me up and takes me back home. I don't go to work that day. And then I have to start the whole process with insurance. That is a process that is so freaking annoying and hard to get a hold of anyone. And no one answers your questions. No one wants to talk to you because they know they're going to owe you money. And it took, I think, actually I can tell you exactly how many days. It took 10 days after the accident for the other person's insurance company. It was American Family. They were horrendous to deal with in the beginning if you have them. But it took them 10 days to get me a rental car, get me any information back. I don't know what I would have done in a situation like that if my family didn't have an extra car that I could like borrow for a week. I don't know what people do when they don't have that, because he told me that if I wanted to go get a rental car on my own, they might reimburse part of it in the future. And I was like, that is freaking ridiculous. The guy was cited on the scene with a ticket for not yielding to oncoming traffic. What more can we do to prove that it is not my fault? 100% his. He admitted fault on the scene. Like, it was horrible. But eventually I got a rental car and someone called me and they're like, hey, we need to go pick your car up out of the lot that it's sitting in, racking up a daily fee, and we need to move it. Here's the part that, because he literally pushed my car out of my lane, slightly over into the Indiana side, American Family decided that the closest place to tow my car to have someone come out and look at it was going to be Indianapolis instead of Cincinnati. I was like, what? For those of you who do not know, Indianapolis is like 2 hours away from Cincinnati. So I was like, that's crazy. But anyway, shortly after they sent someone out to look at my car, which was still like way too long to wait, they did call me and let me know that it was ruled as a total loss. This whole process, I was so worried that insurance money would give me like 500 bucks because this had 270,000 miles on it. That is a lot of miles for a car. I had in my mind like a good number that I could get back, like money amount from like a check from insurance, and then I had like a, if I was dreaming, an amount that I would get back. And after such a long wait, they actually ended up sending me a letter with like the amount that I was going to get back in a check here soon, and it had my exact amount if I was dreaming to get plus $20. And I think it is so funny because that was literally my like if I was dreaming amount, and then the only thing that I couldn't get out of my car because like it wouldn't turn on was my brand new Lover Taylor Swift CD. It had not come out of my car since I bought it, and I was super bummed that my car wouldn't turn on long enough for me to hit the button to get the CD to pop out. And so that's the one thing that died with Eddie, and David actually went out and got me another copy of it, but that's $20. And so I was like, oh my gosh, my dream amount plus $20 for the Taylor Swift CD. Like, what? That's crazy. So my dad and I did end up going and getting everything out of my car. They took it to Indianapolis. I'm in the process of signing the papers and sending them back to get my check in the mail. It was just kind of like a whole crazy nuts experience. And I was honestly devastated when it happened. I could not believe it. Like, the worst, like that. And then Finn going to the vet, and then 1 year anniversary of my mom going missing and then passing away, and then tomorrow marks 1 year from her funeral date. I was like, oh my gosh, all this stuff is happening. We're gonna have so many bad things go wrong. Once I called people, they'd be like, oh my gosh, that's the worst news. I'm so glad you're okay though. Until I called my sister, and she was like, wow, that's great news. And I was like, I just got in an accident. Eddie is totaled. What the heck do you mean that's great news? And she was like, honestly, think about all the things that were going wrong with your car. I couldn't pull in and out of my driveway without it like making like noises like I couldn't drive down the street without that. Air conditioner didn't work unless you were like putting it up to like defrost the front. The front driver's side bottom was leaking with, I guess, rainwater from my sunroof. I don't know. The button on the side of my seat to move it like closer to the steering wheel and then back farther away for when you're like driving or switch drivers and the length of legs and stuff, that was broken. I could not move it any far up, and so I was like stretching to reach the gas pedal. I think like 3 out of 4 speakers like were gone. There was just like a lot of things that were like slowly going downhill. Those were like all things that I could like obviously live with, and I was planning on living with them for like years and years to come because I just paid off all of my student loans, and I'm in a Dave Ramsey group on Facebook about like money and saving and paying off debt and stuff. And now that I'm finally like debt free with, except for like our mortgage, I was like, oh my gosh, I just paid off my student loans and now I'm gonna have to have a car payment and it's gonna be the worst. And people in the group say, don't ever finance a car. And I have like all these thoughts in my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is literally the worst situation like ever. But it ended up being like the best thing that could have happened because they gave me such a good amount for my car, and I turned around and bought a new one. Not a new one, but new to me. It's gorgeous. I'm so excited to show it to you guys. It's sitting in my driveway. I'm in the process of filming like a new car tour and all of that. I'm so excited about it. So it was like the best thing that could have happened because I had like a basically breaking down car that someone was willing to pay me for because it got in an accident that wasn't my fault. I was like, wow, Emily, thank you for looking at the bright side of the situation. She was the only person who was like, this is the best thing that could have happened. And I was like, you know what? Now that I'm like closer to the end of it all being worked out, you're right. But yes, that is pretty much it for today's little story time. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I can't wait to get out the new car tour video for you guys. I'm not gonna tell you what I got until I get that out because I haven't even shared it on Instagram yet. Like, it's still secret. I haven't told anyone except for like 2 aunts, my sister, my cousin, David, obviously, and then my dad. So like, that's still a secret. But that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!